All right, so today we're in lesson 6.1, rates and ratios, or it might be ratios and rates, same thing. We'll cover ratios first and then two different types of rates. All right, so first of all, a ratio. What is a ratio? What is a ratio? It uses division to compare, so it is a comparison two quantities together. That's a ratio. All right, so when we're talking in terms of ratios, there are three formats that we can write a ratio in. We can write it as a fraction, we can write it with the word to, and we can write it with a colon. So when I talk about writing a ratio in three ways, those are the three formats that I can write them in. Now, on your homework, in the first section of your homework, you're going to have these ratios that are written in all three of these different formats, and it's going to say, write it in simplest form, and then in two other ways. Okay, so let's look at it. 2 to 5. Is 2 to 5 in simplest form? Yeah. Okay, we can't reduce it anymore, so good news. Now, the other two ways would be as a fraction. So the first number is the numerator, the second number is the denominator, and the first number and then the second number with the word to. That's the the colon. I already had it written as a 2. 2 to 5. So two other ways would be the other two ways other than the original format. All right, so in the second example, we have 3 over 11. Is it in simplest form? Yes, so in your notes, go ahead and write it in the two other formats that you can write a ratio. All right, so 3 to 11 and 3 colon 11. Okay, in no particular order. You could have written them in different orders. That would be fine as well. So now let's do a couple more. Okay, write the ratio in simplest form and in two other ways. Well, good news, 4/5 is already in simplest form. 24 to 8 might be a different story. Go ahead and solve these two, please. All right, so 4/5 we write 4 to 5, 4 colon 5. 24 to 8, we're going to write 3 to 1, 3 to 1, and 3 colon 1. All three ways because the original way was not written in simplest format. Okay, so if it's already in simplest form, you only have to write the other two ways. If it's not, then I'm expecting three different ratios in your answer. Okay, all written in simplest form. Did you get them? Okay, very good. Now, now let's focus on writing ratios in order from least to greatest. Let's say we had these ratios: 15 to 4, 19 to 5, stop talking, 53 to 15. You should be writing these down. 4 to 1. And 18 to 6. Well, as it is now, I have these ratios written in all different formats, some as fractions, some with the word to, some with colons. What is still the same, though, across the board is that I can change all of these ratios to decimals by dividing the first number by the second number. So that's what I'm going to do. 15 divided by 4, my answer as a decimal is going to be 3 75/100. I want you to convert now the other four ratios to decimals. Okay, so help me out. 19 to 5 is going to be 3.8. All right, 53 to 15. 5-3 repeating? 53 to 15. Just the 3 is repeating. Okay. And then 4 to 1 is just 4. And 18 to 6 is what?
3.
Just 3. Okay, so now that I have them all in the same format, I can clearly see that which one is the smallest. 3. So I'm going to write it in the original format. 18:6 is the smallest. So go back now and write them least to greatest in their original formats. That's important. What's next? 53 over 15. Then 15 over 4. And then, okay, 4 to 1. All right. Any questions? You have 2 of these on your homework tonight. Any questions? Okay, now we're going to find unit rate. When we're finding unit rate, we're given fractions that tell us, okay, this is how much something costs per 7 shares or per 10 hours or however many. And what we're trying to find is, okay, that's great, but how much money is it going to be for 1? Or how many miles will it be for 1 hour? So we want our denominator to be 1 per 1. That's why it's called unit rate. So what I have to do is I have to divide and essentially reduce top and bottom by whatever number is here in my denominator. If there's a 7, I divide by 7. If there's a 9 down there, I divide by 9. Whatever number is down there, I reduce top and bottom by that number. Okay? Oh, no, sorry, not 9. I was thinking of so many examples. Okay, so 7. Now my 7s, yes, they cancel down to 1. And what is 161 divided by 7? $23 per share. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. How much per 1? So what would you divide the second ratio by? By 5. Because I want to know how many miles in 1 hour, so I need to divide top and bottom by 5. And 70 divided by 5 is 14 miles per hour. Clearly, they're not driving, right? All right, I would not want to be behind them if they were. So that's how we find unit rate. Maybe they were riding their bike. Okay? All right, you think you can figure out 2? I want you to do these 2. Find the unit rate. So I divide top and bottom by what number? The first one. Divide top and bottom by 3. Okay, and I get 9 points per quarter. 9 points per quarter. It's important that you label. What do I divide this one by? 40. So it's not even going to be 1. What's 26 divided by 40? 0.65. All right, so it's going to be 0.65 wins per game played. Any questions on unit rate? Any questions on unit rate? Yeah, they don't have a very good record. Okay. All right, last but not least, we have equivalent rate. Now, equivalent rate is definitely the most difficult of all of these concepts. Because what's required in order to figure it out is both a conversion factor and then sometimes finding the unit rate at the very end. All right, so here's what I have to look at first. What am I converting to? What 2 units here can be directly connected? All right, so I'm converting from, in the first proportion, I'm converting from what? Seconds to minutes. Seconds to minutes. I'm going seconds to minutes. So I start with my very first ratio, 300 miles over 20 seconds. And I'm going to multiply that by a conversion factor. What does that mean? It means a ratio that is going to be equal to 1. And I'm going seconds to minutes. So how many seconds are in 1 minute? 60. So I write a ratio that shows 60 seconds in 1 minute. Here's the catch. And here's the part that can be kind of tough at times. Which unit to put on top and which unit to put on the bottom. And here's how you know. You have to be able to cross-reduce the unit that you're converting. So 60 seconds over 1 minute. Why did I put seconds on top? The reason I did is because I need to be able to cross-reduce my seconds. They've got to be able to cancel. If I put minutes on top, it wouldn't work. Now I can cross-reduce my numbers, and I can multiply to get 900 miles per minute. That's super fast. Again, pretty unrealistic. Okay, hold on before you ask questions. Hold on, let me finish explaining. Since I am in my unit rate form, my answer is done. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. All right, this is the answer, 900 miles in 1 minute. And I filled in what I was looking for, how many miles in 1 minute. All right, so now let's do the next one, $33,000 in 1 year. So again, we start with the first ratio, $33,000 in 1 year. And I'm going to multiply it by my conversion factor. Okay? So again, I'm going years to months, but which one do I put on top? Do I put 1 year on top or 12 months on top? I know I'm going years to months, so 1 year or 12 months are in a year.
Year on top.
Why do I put the year on top? So I can cross-reduce 1 year and 12 months. Now these completely cross-reduce, and I have $33,000 in 12 months. Here's the problem. Is that what it asked us to solve for? How much money per 12 months? No. But now I'm at least in the right unit. So now, how much money per 12 months? I find the unit rate by dividing top and bottom by 12. And I get how much? $2,700 per month. I'll just write it this way because I don't have room. Per month. Okay? So sometimes, guys, after you do the conversion, you then have to find the unit rate. Okay? Now, again, going back to the question that I got that wasn't included in the recording, you say there is an easier way to solve this, Ms. Kinder. You are right. Sometimes you think you can do it mental math, but then there are others that you need the conversion factor. You cannot do it mentally. And you're going to see that in the next slide. All right? So let's look at this one. 45 minutes in 2 miles equals how many hours in 1 mile? If you follow the conversion factor, you will get the right answer. Okay? So now we rewrite the first ratio, 45 minutes in 2 miles. We use the units in the original proportion to figure out what our conversion factor is going to be. What am I going from? Minutes to what?
Hours.
Minutes to hours. So what's my conversion factor? 60 minutes in 1 hour. Now the question is, what goes on top and what goes on bottom? I want you to try to fill it in. Try to figure it out on your own. Guys, the last answer was $2,750, not an even $2,700. Did I say $2,700? I meant $2,750. All right, so now going back to this question, okay, what goes in my numerator? 1 hour or 60 minutes? What goes on top? 1 hour. This is why. 60 minutes has to go on the bottom. Can anybody tell me why? Why? I have to be able to cross-reduce this unit. That's how I know. I've got to be able to cross-reduce because what does it want in my answer? It wants hours over miles. So I've got to be able to cancel out these minutes. Now can I cross-reduce my 45 and 60? Okay, to 3 and 4. All right, so now I have 3 hours over 8 miles. Well, here's the problem now. Did it ask me how many hours per 8 miles? What did it ask me? How many hours per 1 mile? So now I have to find the unit rate. How do I find the unit rate? Divide top and bottom by 8. Divide top and bottom by 8, and I get 0.375 hours per mile. And now I've found my answer. Okay, now I want you to solve this last one completely on your own. 50 miles in 1 hour equals how many feet in 1 hour? Okay, so we start with the initial ratio of 50 miles over 1 hour, and we multiply that. Okay, so we know we're going miles and feet. That's our conversion. So now our question is, do we put, how many feet are in a mile? 5,280. Do we put feet over miles or miles over feet? Why feet over miles? Because my units have to cross reduce. I have to be able to cancel out my miles. That's why it goes on bottom. That's how I know what goes on top and what goes on bottom. Now, guess what? It's pretty top loaded, isn't it? 50 times 5,280 is 264,000 feet. Hold on, I forgot. Feet over 1 hour. And this, yes, is already written in the unit rate, so this is my final answer. If you understand that, that's everything you need to know for 6.1.